Oh, there, it says live on my end now too.
We are live. All right. So this is take 2. Sean Robinson with some Riverside secondary students here in a science class. And we have Tanya Harrison, who has already been answering a few of our questions. But now we'll be able to answer a few more of the questions that we have as we study the solar system, we study space. So we're really excited to have Tanya here. We know that she knows a lot about Mars and about the Mars rovers. And I wish that we could have had the fact that we just heard that there's water on Mars. Ken, maybe you could tell us a little bit about that as you introduce yourself. So Tanya.
Sure. Do you want to give the same introduction again?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay. So I'm a PhD student at the University of Western Ontario over in London, Ontario. I'll be graduating in August. And I work on a feature on Mars called gullies, which are features that look like they were formed by liquid water on the surface of Mars relatively recently. And so this has been a really important thing for Mars science. Before I came to Western, I worked for a NASA subcontractor called Mail and Space Science Systems for 4 years, working in mission operations for the Curiosity rover cameras and 2 cameras on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, the Context Camera, or CTX, and the Mars Color Imager, or MARCI. And before I did that, I was an astronomer. So I've done a lot of different things in space, but I've pretty much settled on Mars at this point.
Yeah, and Tanya, quick question. Any latest discoveries on Mars?
So one of the most exciting latest discoveries that we found is evidence for water flowing on the surface of Mars today. And this is in the form of basically these tiny little streaks that we've seen called recurring slope lineae. And it looks like it's places where there's this really salty water that's flowing on the surface, and then the water evaporates and leaves the salt behind. So what we're seeing is the formation of these streaks and then what we call the spectral signature of the salt that it leaves behind. And this is something that's really exciting because we did not expect to find flowing liquid water on the surface of Mars today, because it shouldn't be stable other than for very brief periods of time in very specific locations, because Mars is too cold and the atmospheric pressure is too low. So we're still trying to figure out how these things could possibly be forming and how this water is staying stable.
Wow, okay, that's amazing. So we've got some more students coming up, and just going to be asking some more questions. So thanks, Tanya.
Okay.
Emily.
My name's Emily.
Hello.